Hello world, it's me, Agne Straukiene, MS Neurologist. Have you seen a film which is called Stranger Things? The most popular, the most exciting in history TV series. So I would like to explain you a couple things about this TV series of Stranger Things. I want to share a way of understanding MS that many people have told me feels intuitive, reassuring, and validating, especially if you ever felt that your experience didn't quite match what your scans or tests showing. So we are going to explore MS through the idea of different worlds that exist at the same time as their Stranger Things film series. If you wish to see the TV series of Stranger Things, just go in and start watching. I promise you're gonna have a great time. That means that I'm going into that kind of, I don't know what you call, trance status, maybe. Yeah, so it's exciting what you could get out of the interesting, engaging movie, an interview, maybe a podcast, whatever, that attaches and you glue to the screen. So that's a next level to achieve for everyone to chill and relax and take in information that you need. So now what you need to know is that the world that we see in MS runs quietly in parallel. There are some deeper beneath the surface shapes of what we know and what is going on living with MS. So the way of thinking explained why MS can sometimes feel very confusing, and people feel that there are some changes, but there's nothing on the scan. There's nothing that would suggest MS relapse. Everything seems to be stable. So it's about a world that is above and beyond the relapses or changes on the MRI scan. So whether you are walking, resting, driving at the moment, just taking a moment for yourself and gently explore the worlds. So let's start with the first world, the one most people are familiar with. The mess that we see, we measure, we can name it, we know what's going on. The relapses, the new MRI lesions, changes on neurology examination, maybe increasing EDSS, which is neurological disability status scale. Maybe there is a weakness, maybe there is new balance coordination problems, numbness, sudden vision loss, optic neuritis, you name it. That enters the patients or pupils with MS life often. Sometimes if they have a good control of the disease. So you can assume and see what's going on in this world following the scans, test, diagnosis, seeing the patient, examining, tapping the reflexes, and doing all that nice dance in the clinical room. This world is important. It's real. It still remains. It matters. It's there. You can't ignore that. It does exist. The world that medicine historically focused on most. But we need to move away from that because there are so many things and so many layers to see. I know why it's so popular and most focused is because it fits well with how healthcare systems work. Something happens, people call us, we issue an appointment, we see the patient, we detect, we label it, and we respond, and maybe we change the management, maybe we prescribe new drugs, etc., etc. For many people, especially early in the disease, MS can seem to behave in this very visible, event-based way. Sometimes it flares up, sometimes it settles down, but life continues. But over time, many people notice that this visible picture doesn't fully explain how they feel day to day. And that's where the second world comes in. The second world represents MS activity that runs quietly alongside the first, often without clear relapses or dramatic MRI changes. You can't see it. This world many people describe as using phrases like, I'm no worse, but I'm not the same. Something is going on I can't explain. Some people say, I'm coping, but everything takes more effort, more energy, more time, I'm a bit slower. My thinking is changing, I'm a bit more anxious about things, I can't organize and multitask, etc., etc. Sometimes people say, I can still do things, but not in the same way as I used to. In this world, MS may still be active, but in a slow, subtle form. Sometimes we call this a very famous word that spread across the world. It is smoldering MS. It means that there is a chronic active inflammatory process, maybe diffuse, maybe at the molecule and cell level that you can't see, but people are just getting changes in their life. There may be ongoing low-grade inflammation, expanding lesions, early spinal cord, brain cord volume loss, atrophy as we call, or changes that current scans don't always capture well. What's important here, and I want to say this very clearly, is that people often feel these changes before medicine has a reliable way to measure them. And that does not mean those experiences are imagined. It's real. It's that. It's totally with you. We get you. It doesn't mean that you are being anxious or negative about the things in your life. It means your nervous system is super complex and our tools are still catching up. They're not quite there to identify these kind of subtle changes. The world helps to explain why someone can be told their MRI scans are not changing, they still remain stable, but people feel something is changing and is different in themselves. It's real. We accept that. So this is upside down world. And if you relate to the Stranger Things movie, so the world that is darker, it has got some deeper visuals, darker colors, blue tones. It's scary. It also explains why listening to lived experience is not soft extra in MS care. It's essential. It's something that we all should dive deep in and listen to that story because it's important. Okay, world number 3. Dimension X, the deep drivers of the progression. This is scary world, even scarier than upside down world. The third world takes us deeper still into the biological processes that shapes long-term outcomes in multiple sclerosis. There is where we talk about the gradual nerve damage, energy failure within the nerve cells, the interaction between the MS and aging process. The older you are, the less nerves can regenerate, the more problems, the more progression happens as you age. And the reason progression can sometimes occur without obvious relapses, these flare-up of new symptoms, the progression is just going on in the background without any trigger. This world can sound frightening if it is not explained carefully, but I want to frame it differently. It's a world of better understanding. Understanding that MS is not only about the inflammatory process, it's also about how resilient the nervous system is over time. So this is where our main research is now located. We're trying to understand what drives the mechanisms of the injury, repair, regeneration, recovery, aging, longevity, wellness, holistic care, you name it. This is where concepts like brain health, movement, sleep, stress regulation, nutrition, mindfulness, meditation, and emotional well-being matter. Not as an alternative to medical treatment. As we know, disease-modifying therapies are essential. The earlier we start disease-modifying therapy, the better outcomes, people do better. These are essential key elements. But then beside that, what I just mentioned about the other concepts of the lifestyle medicine, is part of protecting the nervous system and improving the resilience and the capacity. When we talk about lifestyle medicine, we're not talking about blame or responsibility or this is your fault because you're obese or this is this and that. or you feel guilty yourself that you haven't exercised this morning, or you had your burger this morning. We talk about supporting the biology, nourishing the cells that would function day to day and help us to live beautiful lives and long lives and healthy lives. That's the most important thing. This world helps explain why care continues when relapses stop. Why the goal is not just quiet MS, is to support the brain and spinal cord for a long journey ahead. So the last world I would like to explain is the wormhole. Time connects all the worlds, okay? What connects all of these worlds is purely time, nothing else. MS does not suddenly jump from one stage to another. You wake up with primary progressive MS, or you wake up with a secondary progressive MS, or you wake up with a relapsing remitting MS. The transition from one stage of the disease to another, it's very quiet, very slow, very gradual, often invisible. Small changes accumulate over years, which is why early understanding, early diagnosis, regular reviews, regular visit, regular communication, thoughtful care matters, and it matters so much. The wormhole is not a countdown. It's not a deadline. It's not something that we need to reach like tomorrow at 5 o'clock or something. No. It's a reminder that what happens beneath the surface today can shape how someone feels years from now. If you are smoking, it's time to give up smoking, because that will reverse all the damage you had from the smoking tobacco. And you can feel much, much better after you stop. And you are also going to slow down the progression by 5 years if you give up smoking now, today. This is why monitoring continues even when the things seem calm, when the early actions, medical, lifestyle, emotional, can make a meaningful difference. And that's why I am investing my time and energy looking at how the digital technology, how some tools, the wearables, sensors, can help me to identify what's not visible, what's not seen, but people describe as there are some subtle changes. And over the time, and capturing that in time, it's so important. So this is where the wormhole, the time from one stage to another, from one world to another, is required to understand the processes that underlie the pathology of the MS disease. I know it's very complex, but I'm really going to use a lot of visuals. And if you are listening and you would like to see the images that I'm going to use to explain these different worlds, please do watch me on YouTube, or these days Spotify video is available. So if you need to take one thing from today's episodes, let it be, if your scan looks unchanged, but you feel different, that does not mean nothing is happening. If you're doing well now, it doesn't mean that care can be stopped and you don't need to see anybody and you're gonna stay and live a joyful life. MS disappeared suddenly. No. It means that care needs to be still proactive. And if MS feels confusing at times, it's not a failure on your part or the healthcare providers. It's a reflection of how complex this condition truly is. Understanding MS existing across different worlds helps us move away from the fear towards clarity, partnership, compassion, better understanding, and maybe discovery of the new drugs, and maybe finally cure. I just want to emphasize that your experience matters, your observations matters, your feelings matters, your sensation matters. And good MS care listens to all of it and uses maybe some advanced technology to capture that. Whether it's imaging, whether it's some sensory captures, maybe some motion activities and recordings, anything like that. Speech recognition, now we have AI available. You can do even more. So overall, multiple sclerosis doesn't exist in just one visible layer. There is the MS we can see, relapses, scan changes, symptoms that clearly come and go. But there is also MS that runs quietly in parallel, where subtle changes in balance, thinking, fatigue may appear even when tests look stable, and often leaving people feeling not worse but not the same. Beneath this lies a deeper biological world, where long-term processes such as nerve energy, failure, aging, gradual neurodegeneration shape future outcomes. What connects all these worlds in time? MS doesn't suddenly jump from one stage to another. It transitions slowly with small changes accumulating over years, which is why early understanding, ongoing care, and attention to both medical treatment and brain health truly matter. So thank you for being here, for listening, tuning in, trying to understand my metaphors, explaining the different worlds of MS. And I've been stunned and inspired by as I mentioned, the Netflix series, because it's one of the most popular TV series in history. And it really got into people's minds consciously and subconsciously deep. And relating to these different worlds from this series, I think you may understand a little bit better what is living with MS and explaining it in a simple language. So thank you for being here. Thank you for taking your time to understand MS. And we are talking about very deep knowledge. In this episode, I tried to do my best to bring the better day-to-day living experience and wrap it in the artistic scenes to explain what's going on beneath the surface in another world of what is not visible day to day. If this episode resonates with you, feel free to share, comment. The more you do, this kind of activity reaches so many hearts and souls in this world, and it helps to spread across the globe. I would like to believe that. And it's going to reach many people. So if you need to revisit, come back and watch it again and listen to this episode. Until next time, don't forget to care for your brain, be gentle, be kind, and Happy New Year 2026 to everyone. And thank you for following me online and listening. I'm so grateful for all of you, and I hope that you're going to have a great time in 2026. If not, in 2027. But be hopeful and look at things as positive as you can and reach for some help if you need it. Bye for now.